Hey guys, and welcome back to USAirsoft. I'll be your host, Scott Slade Hollenbeck, and today we'll be taking a look at the top 15 guns that aren't available in the airsoft world, but hopefully will be very soon.
Let's kick off this countdown with number 15, the PTRS anti-tank rifle. The PTRS-41 was produced and used by the Soviet Union during World War II. Produced in 1938, the 5-round magazine was loaded into the receiver and held under pressure by a swing magazine underneath. On firing the last round, the bolt is held open and the magazine release catch can only be operated when the bolt is locked back. The gas-operated PTRS has a tendency to jam when dirty, and the 14.5 by 114mm cartridge produces significant residue blocking the gas port. This rifle can penetrate an armor plate up to 40mm stick at a distance of 100 meters away. If produced for the airsoft market, this rifle may be quite a hassle to some, but also could be upgraded beyond comprehension by some witty techs to take its range to a whole new level, or it could also become another great collector's piece. But if put into production, I would like to see this come from either Snowwolf or SOCOM gear, but just imagine the price tag. Number 14. The G41 was produced in the 1980s and was planned as a backup for the future planned G11s, which we'll go over later. The G41 was chambered in 5.56 by 45mm and could take the standard M16 magazines. The rifle would prove to be very expensive, and when communism collapsed, all plans for this rifle fell apart, and even export for this rifle would prove to be unsuccessful. To this day, the G41 can be found in select collections and museums. If this awesome piece of H&K history found light in the airsoft world, I would like to see it as a G&G product, or maybe an Elite Force rifle with stunning H&K trademarks. Number 13. Designed by Walther, the Gewehr 43 was accurate and effective, but complex and thus slow to produce. It was issued in small numbers, which may explain why semi-automatic weapons never became prevalent in the German army as in some other nations' forces. Although custom builds of this rifle are being brought to light, I would like to see S&T come forward with a product for all of us, being as they have made it apparent that they enjoy making World War II replicas, hence their PPSH and their very pretty MG42. Now we move on to number 12, which is one of my favorites on this list. The Saiga 12 is basically a 12-gauge shotgun patterned after the AK-47. From full-length hunting rifles to compact tactical rifles, this shotgun has many different configurations that can be manipulated to make a shotgun just for you. I'm a bit torn between what company would make the best Saiga 12, but if GMP would step to the plate on this one, I would hope that they would figure out a way to utilize the rifle's potential and produce this as a 3-barrel burst AEG.
Coming in at number 11 is an oddity straight from Soviet Russia. It's the DP-28. The DP-28 was a very robust Russian weapon whose main defect was its awkward drum feed system, which was prone to damage. Despite this, the DP-28 gave very good service back from World War II and remained in production into the 1950s. Now, if Russian man could get his own DP-28 for airsoft, I'd want it to be from A&K. Imagine another option for World War II light machine gunners. Moving back to proper English, we go back to H&K for another history lesson. And our next gun on the list, the HK-21. H&K created a family of support weapons using a common receiver and interchangeable parts, and it began with the HK-21. The HK-21 never saw action in battle, but was adopted by the German police because for some reason the German police really need an LMG for police use. It was later renamed the G8 by the German police task forces. This is also another weapon I wouldn't know who would do better with. It's a struggle between Elite Force Umarex and A&K for me. Elite Force can get the trademarks, while A&K has the experience with LMGs. Maybe one day we'll see who tries it first. Now we move in to number 9, the VZ58. A Czech design which outworldly resembles the AK-47, the VZ58 used the same cartridge but was entirely different design. Early models use a fixed plastic stock, but this layer changed to a folding metal stock. Being that I've actually seen a lot of videos with custom VZ58s that are actually gas blowback, I can't say that this doesn't exist, but I wonder how a D-Boys or maybe an ENL version would look. Now that we're at number 8, I wonder how many video gamers would recognize this rifle. The OTS-03 SVU short sniper rifle is a bullpup configuration of the SVD sniper rifle. The SVU was developed to meet the needs of the security forces of the Russian Ministry of Internal Affairs. The SVU was first seen in the First Chechen War. Originally, the plan was to just slightly modernize the aging SVD, but the designers eventually realized that the configuration of the weapon would have to be completely altered, leading to the creation of the SVU. Since I like the AIM and Ares SVDs, I would like to see either company reveal this rifle, either GBB or AEG. But what would you SVD users like to see?
Moving on to number 7 is Airsoftology Jonathan's pick for the countdown.
Developed as a replacement for the MG3, the MG4 is chambered in 5.56 rather than 7.62. The project was designated the MG43 by H&K and is often referred by that name. I honestly thought this was already on the market, but I was surprised to know that it wasn't. But it's almost needless to say that I would like to see A&K make this one as well. But maybe I'm giving them too much credit. Who do you think would make the best MG4?
Now we move on to number 6, which is another favorite of mine.
The Stoner 63 differed from most other assault rifles in having components. The basic receiver could be assembled by the user as a carbine, LMG, or even a sniper rifle. Although it was popular by the United States Navy SEALs in Vietnam, the model required much more research and development. However, it was in competition with the M16, which had been adopted by the US military in the 1960s. Now, I already know that GMP made the LMG version, but I would really like to see the assault rifle be made. Please don't tell me that I'm the only one that really likes this rifle, because if it ever hits the market, I'll be sure to pre-order mine.
Now with the Stoner 63 out of the way, we move on to my last major favorite gun on this list, the Ultimax 100. The Ultimax achieved modest success in the marketplace and might have done much better if it emerged before the M249, but instead it was launched into a market niche that was already filled by an excellent weapon. I really don't know exactly even myself why I love this gun so much, but hopefully I'm not the only one. But if I had to say in the matter of who would make it, I would like to either see it be made by Matrix or GMP. Moving on to number 4, we go to a gun developed late in World War II, the RPD. The RPD was a highly influential weapon which was copied by China under the designation of the Type 56, and North Korea, which it was called the Type 62. Even though this weapon has some amazing strengths and some very diminishing weaknesses, it has been manufactured since the 1950s to the present day, and manages to pop up in small numbers in conflicts all around the world. Although I've seen some absolutely amazing custom builds of this gun, still no manufacturer has stepped up to the chopping block for this piece. Who will bank it on this one? Only time will tell. And now for the G41's backup, the G11. An extremely advanced weapon, the G11 uses caseless ammunition, i.e. there is no cartridge case, just a formed block of propellant. This means there is nothing to eject. Despite extensive testing, the G11 has not yet been adopted for service, so at the moment the H&K G11 is nothing more but a prototype waiting for service. Although the real H&K G11 may never see action, doesn't mean that an Airsoft one can't. But who will come forward with their own prototype? Your guess is as good as mine. And now for our runner-up, the Kel Tec KSG. The Kel Tec KSG Shotgun is a manually operated pump-action weapon with the ability to choose a magazine tube by switching a 3-position lever located behind the pistol grip that holds 6 shells each. This bullpup shotty is just screaming to be turned into an Airsoft replica. And yes, I've heard the statements that Madball were releasing their own and that it would be amazingly priced near the $100 mark. But that was 2012, so again we're left waiting, hopefully not for long though. But here's one thing you don't have to wait for anymore, and that's number 1 in our countdown. Could you have guessed it would be the AA-12 shotgun? If so, then good for you. If I had to tell you the entirety of this weapon, we'd be here for a few hours, so let me sum this down. Developed over many years, the AA-12 is capable of firing a range of ammunition, including airburst rounds. It can take an 8-round box magazine or a 20 to 30 round drum. And being almost completely made of stainless steel, this weapon needs almost no cleaning whatsoever, which also cuts down the shotgun's recoil. But man, imagine this today on an airsoft field? I've seen a custom build before on video, which just makes me wonder what this shotgun is really capable in airsoft form. But just like this weapon and all the other ones on this countdown, we just have to wait for what the future unfolds for us. Well guys, that's the end of this countdown, but if you were expecting to see a gun here but didn't, just throw it down in the comments below and maybe one day we'll revisit this topic. But until the next video, I'll see you guys next time.